Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my cerebralites. It's me, the Cerebral Diva. And this is going to be a rant. And I'm about to rant about Sprint and their horrible service. And not just the horrible service in terms of connectivity, but the horrible customer service that is provided by Sprint. Now, I've been a long time customer of Sprint, probably for the most recently since 2013. I left Sprint for a little while. Remember when Boost Mobile had that $50 deal? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go check that out for a little bit. But the service on Boost Mobile was horrible because it was actually through Sprint as well. And so ultimately I wound up going back to Sprint. So I've been with Sprint since 2013. And the service has been pretty decent. It was pretty decent from probably 2013 to about 2015 or so. I moved to one unit and the service was bad but not horrible, enough that I could actually deal with it and live through the inconveniences of, these sporadic drop calls. So most recently I moved to another new location, and here the service is deplorable. I mean, it is completely substandard. And I've been calling Sprint ever since I moved into my new place. Now, I had a guy that I met at the gym, and we were sort of talking about phone service, and he told me that he was a Sprint customer and that he was having pretty much the same problem that I'm having with shoddy service, drop calls, connectivity issues. And he informed me about this product called the Airwave. So I'm thinking, maybe that's the answer to my problems. So I called Sprint, they send the Airwave, and so I attached the Airwave or installed the Airwave, and I'm thinking, great. But the problems, not only did the problem persist, I almost feel like the Airwave made it worse. So here I am calling Sprint at least twice a month for the last 6 months, telling them that I'm having issues. Now, calling a cell phone company is such a painstaking process. One, like if you get someone who's English speaking or English is their first language, you're excited because at least you're not going to have to constantly repeat yourself. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is they transfer you to this department, to this department, to this department, to this department, and you're having to give your access code, give your address, and tell the same story that you've just told 5 other people for the 6th time, all while trying to keep a level head and trying to maintain some level of professional decorum. So over the weekend, I came to the conclusion that Monday morning was probably going to be my last day with Sprint. I'm just sick of calling them. I called them about 2 weeks ago to talk about this issue. They told me they were going to put in a ticket, look into the issue, and someone would get back to me within 72 hours. Well, it's been more than double 72 hours. And no one has gotten back to me. So when I called today, and one of the things about me that I really try to impress upon other people is that I'm always nice to customer service people. I think it's important to remember that a customer service agent's job is really to enforce company policies. And in most instances, they don't really have the power to make decisions outside of those that have been ordained by the company. So I'm always nice. I'm always amiable. I'm always trying to be as pliable as possible when I'm dealing with customer service people, because I feel bad. I know that some people aren't nice people and they probably call up and yell and scream and all the craziness. So I do make a cognizant effort to really be nice to customer service people. But I kind of lost it a little bit. Now, my version of losing it and the other person's version of losing it are probably completely different. But anyhow, so I called Sprint today. We're on the phone for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, talking about my phone. I've been transferred multiple times. And, now they're telling me, well, we're going to charge you $130 to terminate your phone, to terminate your contract. And I'm like, why the hell do I have to pay $130 to terminate a contract for a phone that's not working? The service that you're providing is, if anything, I feel as a consumer, I should be compensated. You should be paying me reparations for the service that I haven't been able to use for the last 6 months. How dare you ask me to pay you $130 for substandard service. Not even for substandard service, $130 for walking away from service that I cannot utilize. So I'm telling the guy, I'm like, look, I don't feel like I should have to pay that. And I'm laying out my case, exhibit by exhibit. And he's like, well, what we can do is we can put in a ticket. And if we put in a ticket and they come out there and check the tower and we find out that there's a problem, then we can waive the $130 fee. But that's the problem. So if I agree to allow Sprint to come out and put in a ticket, which I've already done previously, here's another day, another 2 days, another 3 days, another week that passes. And like calling a cell phone company, it's almost like getting into an argument. In the heat of the moment, you're all riled up, your adrenaline's going. But then as time passes, you sort of soften and you just sort of ease into the dysfunction. And that's kind of like how my relationship is. That's analogous to my relationship with Sprint. It's because I just, rather than calling them and being on the phone for 2 hours, I'm just like, I'll just ride this wave. Hopefully it'll get better. My contract will be ending within the next 6 or 7 months, whatever. But the problem is, I work from home, I have a home-based business, and I really need to have my phone functioning because it's vital to the growth of my business. So I called them, and the guy's telling me, look, I don't, basically what he was saying, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't give a damn what your problem is. I don't give a damn how poor the service is. Either you pay the $130 to get out of this contract, or you deal with this bad service. And then he has the nerve. He's like, well, let me check the towers in your area. Oh, well, I'm checking the towers in your area, and based off of the information we have, the service is fair to good. Now, I don't know what the barometer is for measuring cell phone service or how they've calculated that it's bad, from bad to good, but I'm telling you, it is horrible. 90% probably of my phone calls drop. I have to constantly call people over, constantly ask people to repeat themselves. It's embarrassing to have a phone because it's not a professional look. So I go back and forth with this guy, and finally I realize he's being rigid, he's being inflexible, and that no matter what I say, they want me to pay this $130. So you know what? At the end of the day, fine, I'll pay the $130. If that's what it takes to get service, if that's what it takes to have peace of mind, I'm going to do that. But I will never, ever, ever use Sprint service again. And if you are a Sprint customer, if you have Sprint and you have these issues, or if you don't have Sprint, do not use Sprint. Do not. I'm telling you, I have the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. That's the phone that I currently use. So what I'm about to do is go to Walmart. I'm going to buy me one of those Straight Talk cards that are like $50 a month. And if I'm going to pay, like my bill monthly through Sprint is about $150. That's what I'm paying for service that I can't use. So even though this Walmart plan is not the best, if I'm going to have to deal with bad service, I'd rather not pay a premium for it. I could probably live with shoddy service if I'm paying $50 a month for it. And so I'm done with Sprint. I'm going to pay these people this $130. I'm going to pay my final bill because I don't need anyone affecting my FICO score, and I'm done. I'm divorcing Sprint. So if you have Sprint, if you're considering Sprint, I implore you, run for the hills. Do not use Sprint. It is the worst cell phone company out there. They do not care about their customers. They do not value relationships. They tell you all this stuff. Oh, well, I see you've been a customer of ours for, the last 5 years. Thank you for being a customer of Sprint. Well, if you really wanted to thank me, if you really valued my service, you'd value the dollars that I spent with your customers and not charge me a premium for having to walk away from service that you failed to provide. So I guess that's it for my rant, you guys. I'm just telling you, stay away from Sprint. They're horrible. I will never use Sprint again. From here on out, like, I'm not even buying brand new cell phones again. my whole disposition as a consumer is shifting. Like, I'm not getting caught up in the hype of having to get the new and latest phone. I'm sick of that. The only reason I have the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is because an ex-boyfriend of mine insisted on buying me this phone. I didn't want it. I really didn't. I had the Galaxy Note 3 up until last year, believe it or not. And I was content with the Note 3 because, as far as I was concerned, it did everything that these other phones do. The only difference, they have a faster processor, a better camera. But at the end of the day, as long as I can talk, as long as I can text, as long as I can get on the internet, as long as I can access GPS, and pretty much every phone out there does that right now, I don't really care about having the new Samsung Galaxy S8. It's pretty much basically a rehashing of the S7. So I would be, it's foolish of me to squander my money buying these products from these companies that basically do the same thing. As far as I'm concerned, until they make a phone that can make a pizza materialize in front of me, I don't need a new phone. I'm not spending my money. I'm not giving my money away so that I can be, so that I can keep up with the Joneses. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I just really had to get that off my chest. Sprint has pissed me off today. I mean, I am pissed to the highest passivity. $130 for nothing. You know, I could have gone and went out and bought myself some sushi. I had a sushi night out. I could have done a ton of other things with my $130, but unfortunately, I guess Brent will be having sushi on me. Anyhow, you guys, as always, in closing, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter than me. And do not use Sprint. Have a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon.